So last topic I want to discuss with you is around, let's say, the cloud.
Yeah.
And so one idea I had as I was reading a lot about cloud services was thinking about the leverage Amazon has in their model for AWS. I mean, everyone knows AWS. A lot of companies around here are built because of it.
Yes.
And it seemed like they had about 1% of a market
That's right.
that's huge and that's growing.
Yeah.
And I felt that this could be the leverage in their model that gives them Google-like operating scale.
Yes.
So I wonder, does that, do you agree, disagree with that? I'm trying to learn, one, and then based on that, what does that mean for entrepreneurs who are just starting to build companies?
Yeah.
What does it mean for entrepreneurs who are already a couple years into building a company that's growing?
Yeah.
How is the world potentially going to change around because of that service?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd start off by saying that I think mobile plus cloud and mobile to cloud is the top level secular trend we're living under today. And then I think going to the cloud piece and AWS in particular, I mean I think it's just incredible what Amazon and AWS are doing in that particular area. And if you look at the momentum and growth they're at, they don't break out numbers. Amazon does not break out numbers separately for AWS, but I think a number of industry observers out there believe last year that business was north of 2 billion in size. This year it'll come in somewhere between 3.5 and 4 billion. And it's literally just a runaway train in terms of its growth. And it'll probably pass VMware within a year and a half.
And they haven't really stepped on the gas either, right?
Right, and they're just so I think if you just look at what's kind of going on there, and they began with the compute piece, they added storage, added database as a service, over the last year, and all of these just have tremendous uptake around them. I think also if I look at the startups we work with, the last several years, most startups today that are building cloud-based services. Many of them are building on AWS, right? So what does this mean more broadly for entrepreneurs? I think if a new technology comes in today, to pitch us, new technology company comes in to pitch us today, I think they really need to be cognizant of kind of this macro trend, which is, the world's moving towards mobile accessing cloud. And then, with that backdrop, how do they really fit within that backdrop, right? Just as the world increasingly starts looking that way. So I think that said, right, I mean, that also creates tremendous opportunities, for new companies that think mobile first. Also, there's, continued opportunities for companies that are doing SaaS and cloud services. Greylock's fortunate to have participated in some of the early movers here, namely, Workday, ServiceNow, Apptio, involved with Okta, Sumo Logic, Tidemark, Domo. There's just a number of companies, in our portfolio, Sky High Networks more recently. I think literally you can almost take every piece of the IT stack and you can ask the question, is there a way to kind of, provide this, as a service, cloud-based at scale?
I mean, so it seems like what you're saying is that for entrepreneurs who haven't started out, AWS, here to stay, will allow companies to form more quickly with lower capital requirements.
That's right.
But for entrepreneurs who are maybe a couple of years in, if they're not really thinking about that transition of mobile to cloud, someone can come up from the bottom and just disrupt them because of capital requirements.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth mentioning. I mean, AWS is clearly kind of the runaway train. They are rightfully the poster child for this space.
Yeah.
But you take businesses like Rackspace, IBM SoftLayer, Google Apps, Microsoft Azure.
I mean, you have to
many of these have tremendous growth around them. Also, companies like Equinix.
You have to think Google Compute will try to compete, right? I mean, the market's just too big.
That's right, and and all of these have strong growth. All of these properties and businesses have strong growth around them today. Yeah.
Are you seeing companies starting out building on other platforms, using other cloud platforms?
Yes, we are. We are seeing companies, that basically. So we're seeing. I'd say AWS is the most common platform that we see companies building on.
It's not cheap, right?
That's right. But they've got the right combination of price, performance, as well as other attributes.
Okay.
And price is heading in the right direction, right? It keeps getting cheaper as time goes on. But in some cases, companies may want to be in a colo from day one, right?
What would motivate an entrepreneur, let's say in a certain space or type of entrepreneur, product they're building, to actually not use AWS?
I think security and availability, would be two reasons why some businesses may choose to actually go other places. I think AWS does a tremendous job in both those areas, and things are increasing with every day that goes by. But there yet may be reasons why people, may choose to go other places as well. Maybe I'd add one more as well, which is I would just say, regional or geographic availability as well. It's part of the availability piece. Yeah.
In terms of
there may be a footprint. So for example, in particular, like if you take Europe, Europe has data privacy laws around regions and countries.
Where they would preclude using
Yeah,
AWS.
so like let's say basically if I'm a German entrepreneur providing a business in Germany as a service to German customers, there may be good reasons for me to go to a provider that would ensure that my data sits in Germany. It may be cloud-based, but it's still sitting physically in Germany, just as an example.
Got it. Okay.